Me.
I don't know.
Hello, Lamely. Welcome to chapter 28 of Me, I Am a Memoir, the meaning of Mariah Carey. We're actually reading another chapter from the book. This is a surprise to even us. And we are, the reason I was wondering why Posh was putting his fingers in his ears is because normally when I record the Hello, Lamely, we're remote and he pulls his headphones out of his ears, but we're not wearing headphones today because we are face to face.
Butt to face. You have headphones in though.
I do, because I have to make sure I can hear myself. Levels.
We're so in sync now.
I know, it's terrifying.
I'm still looking at the screen instead of you because it's just too strange. Mine's gonna look
am I your ring light now?
Yes. Turn around and bend over. But so yeah, I covered my ears out of habit.
I know. It was
to do.
Do you want me to do it really loud so it still hurts you?
No. I think we're good.
Hello, Emily.
We'll get banging on the neighbour's wall again.
Oh, don't. That was embarrassing.
You had to
move. So, yes, we're doing the chapter Precious, but also the film,
yes,
as my grandmother would have called it.
We thought,
Precious.
If we're going to be face-to-face, let's do the most, uplifting, festive chapter in the book.
It's none of those things.
No.
But look, because we are in Mariah Town, we're in her end of the year, I figure we must have a whole bucket of those me moments.
Me moments. So it's weird. We don't actually have a lead story, but a bunch of headlines. Okay.
Headlines.
I don't know what we're doing now. So Mariah has done all of the interviews for the new song and the Christmas special.
The new special. The Train, darling, the Train.
Yes. Including one with E.T., Entertainment Tonight, where she was asked whether...
I forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah. Where's Mary Hart? She was asked whether Dem Baby's step siblings, meaning Nick Cannon's other kids, ever get to join in the Mariah festivities.
Right.
To which
in Aspen.
To which Mariah replied, "Is it step? I don't think it's step if you're not married to the person. I don't know about that. That's a different interview for you." I was like, to clarify, they would be half siblings.
They would.
But Mariah's like, not if you're not married, you don't exist. But I'm wondering if that's to get Nick back for saying that his favourite baby mama is the next one.
Oh.
Recently with a bit of the Andy Cohen. And Mariah is also hoping that the Butterfly Lounge becomes its own separate streaming moment. So I'm thinking the Apple TV Plus, maybe all the guests will come in. Because it's not all festive stuff. I think it's similar to the Valentine's Day version of We Belong Together.
Oh, okay. So it's a proper Butterfly Lounge. Let's all hang out and sing a song.
Yeah.
But she's only announced those two that are on the single. So do you think there's going to be surprise festive moments?
I don't know if there's surprise festive moments, but I think there's going to be surprise Butterfly Lounge moments in the coming months.
I see.
Now we've also got the festive headlines. So Mariah,
oh my God, I forgot we have regular headlines. They're not regular because it's about Mariah. They're Mariah headlines.
Yes.
And then we've got Mariah Christmas headlines.
Yes. So Mariah has confirmed that she is not Santa.
Oh, yes.
But she is his friend.
Yes.
So we just, for people who weren't sure, is it Mariah Claus?
Because that was spurred on by old mate from Scandal. Kerry Washington had tweeted that she thought Mariah Carey was actually Santa. And that's when Mariah had to clarify.
Yeah. And I mean, it's fair enough. I feel like, children being born now.
Yes.
Like, what are they going to see more of?
Yeah.
Santa or Mariah Carey?
She's owned Christmas for 25 years.
Yeah. Now, Mariah has said that the gold dress from the upcoming special weighed 60 pounds, which she clarifies that it's not including her weight, which if it was included, it would actually bring it down 2 pounds.
Yeah, it would be negative.
so light now that I'm here. All I Want for Christmas Is You has topped Billboard's greatest of all-time holiday 100 songs chart.
Oh, wow.
Right?
So it's gone past White Christmas, which was the number one of that for a very long time.
The all Mariah special.
Oh,
now.
wow.
Just the entire top 100 is Mariah. Mariah has confirmed that while she likes to wait until after Thanksgiving for, it's getting into the full Christmas spirit.
Yes.
She knows that around the world, some of us don't have Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So she's like, I want everyone to have a festive moment. So we're starting on November 1st. And then in America, we might just hold back a little for Thanksgiving.
So everyone can have their turkey.
Yeah. But for
they have
all of
two
us,
big meals within a month of each
it's
other.
A lot.
That's a lot.
And it's a lot of family.
Yeah, that's a lot of seeing people that
I know. And Mariah...
Got a whole year without having to look at you twice in a month.
I know. There's Easter, so Mariah's Christmas, The Magic Continues, has a trailer, and we see Mariah with them babies, the Kirk and the Khalid will be there, as well as old mate Apple interview guy, and
saying that.
Yes, and it's going to be a whole moment. I forgot his name while I was doing it. And I'm a little I like his interviews, but at the same time, could be because he's from New Zealand and Australians are accused of this a little bit. Sometimes our accent can sound completely disingenuous. I'm not saying that that's what he is. I just think that someone who spent 30 years hating pop music and now loves pop music, I'm like, and you're getting all the interviews. I mean, it's better than Channel 7, old mate Channel 7.
Don't even. Like, one time, I did an interview where I didn't see the film or listen to the album or whatever. And I did get in huge trouble with Sienna Miller. She called me a douchebag. But that's because I was helping my nan at the hospital when the film was on and I couldn't make it.
Was that why she yelled at you, or did you say or ask something inappropriate?
I said something inappropriate.
Yeah. Had nothing to do with the movie.
I know. She didn't care about G.I. Joe, the film.
Oh, God. Who would?
But yeah, like like he was on a long haul flight to London and didn't manage to listen to an album that barely went for an hour.
I mean, I haven't either, but I don't have to.
I didn't get the email. Yeah, sure, mate. Sure.
Oh, Lord. But that does bring us to the end of the Mimi Moments.
Mimi Moments.
How about a recap? A recap. Would you like a recap?
So you'll need a recap.
I will.
Alfred Roy, Mariah's father, was laid to rest amongst gospel and sunflowers and rice upon rice upon rice.
Yeah. That's the story. Is that the recap?
Did anything else happen in that chapter?
I was just thinking, before you said rice upon rice, I was like, out of the sunflowers and the gospel. He liked one of those things.
Yeah. I mean, she had some reconciliation with him. There was a lot going on. It was a busy chapter. It was very emotional. We both had a moment. In the reading, I was excited to get on to the next chapter, which here is the gist.
Okay.
Mariah is in the movie Precious with no makeup on. None. Not even blush.
Oh, God. I don't think we can read this.
I don't think we can read this.
I don't think she wants us to see it.
I didn't need to see
I don't
that.
want to see that.
I watched that for the first time the other day.
Stop it. So good. How much have you watched of it?
Just the first 2 episodes.
Oh, my God. The second season, which happened 10 years later, even better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And there's talk of maybe a third at some point post-COVID.
Yes.
As soon as he's finished with this new series of Sex in the City, or as I like to call it, What's Happened to Charlotte's Face.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Oh, I like to call it Samantha Got Fired because of the scatting.
I think she's been stung by a number of bees.
Oh.
I met her once. She was lovely.
It might have been the fall in the pool in Monroe's place.
Oh, that's probably it, yes.
Was she
married
nice?
to Billy. Oh, she was heaven. Like,
that's good.
It was like a red carpet thing at like this, I think it was like a Miramax party. Let's not talk about Harvey Weinstein. But yeah, and so I was working the red carpet for that. And then we were allowed to go to the party afterwards, which was lovely. And everyone had just kind of come and said hi and stuff, and there was a bit of chat. Leo was there. Kate Blanchett, Stockard Channing. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Here is a name drop. I got to tell her that when I was 10, I used to mime to Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I still do, but that's it. But yeah, like Kristen Davis just walked down and like I've got to go to the party, but I don't want anyone to miss out. Like she wanted to talk to everyone. She was the sweetest thing in the world. David Duchovny, Heidi Klum. It was a very busy night.
The Heidi Klums.
Yes, it was great.
Sauce.
I know. Look, I should have brought my tarp to your house. I'm so sorry. You're not going to get the bond back.
There's a yoga mat over there. We'll figure it out. All right. Does that mean that it is time to break it on down?
It does mean it's time to break it on down.
Break me on down. So we're still in part 4, Emancipation, with the chapter Precious, before we get to the film.
Yes.
So Mariah had immediately connected with the book Push, written by Sapphire, and after reading it at the suggestion of her friend Rhonda, and in my head I picture Rhonda from the first season of Melrose Place.
Not Birchmore?
She can be in it too. Sure, they can they're both in it. There'll be 2 versions filmed. And it'll be one's the UK, one's the US. Like Harry Potter. As soon as she'd finished reading it, she went back to the beginning and started it again.
I've done that with a book before.
Have you? What was the book?
Doomsday Book by Connie Williams.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I have. I always need to
have a rest
and read something different normally. Yeah. And Mariah was thrilled that Lee Daniels had obtained the movie rights because she loved working with him on Tennessee, a film that we will be touching on in the new year. Have you seen?
I have not.
No, me neither.
It's got the song Right to Dream. I know that much.
Perfect.
I've listened to that a lot.
Great.
It's just one of those films that's hard to find.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because there's a tiny little independent film, so it's, it's difficult to get a hold of. It was not released in the cinemas here.
Oh,
or I would have gone.
Yeah.
As you well know.
Maybe we can take it to the classic down the road.
Maybe.
So Mariah's friend Karen G was the acting coach and was telling, as in the acting coach on the movie, and was telling Mariah of the special moments happening on set when out of nowhere, Lee Daniels, with 1 day's notice, asked Mariah if she'd play the social worker, Miss Weiss.
Miss Weiss.
A role that had originally been intended for Helen Mirren, who was doing it as a favour, but had to drop out due to another commitment.
Yes.
And she's like, I got a real job, Lee. That's what he said. That's what she said. So Mariah quickly learned her lines, did some dirty improv, and based her and based her portrayal loosely on her and Tommy's therapist's "Sweetie, it's not normal."
It's not normal. I loved her.
And we also needed voluminous breasts back.
Oh, yeah.
That would have really, like a full reunion.
Yeah. From an acting coach.
So Lee insisted that Mariah not look like Mariah.
Oh.
There was to be no makeup, darling.
Very dare.
I mean, why did the movie get made?
She's got 500 hours.
A beauty school.
Why would you not want to use that?
And on the DVD, he did say, aside from his own reasons for wanting it that way, there was continuity to be worried about. And I just ache to see Mariah slowly get in drag throughout the movie. Like, by the end of it, she's fully retouched.
Apparently that happened on Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, God, I can imagine.
They were meant to be uglier and uglier as the movie went on. But they kept sneaking off to the van to put on more makeup. So by the end of the film, they're both younger and prettier than at the beginning. Now, one of them's dead and more beautiful and young than she's meant to be.
Oh my God. So yes, there was a blush moment where Mariah tried. But that is not happening. But Mariah also mentioned that being mixed-ish, that she has both keloids and rosacea.
Yeah.
Now, I made the mistake of Googling what those things are.
Yeah, that's not. Don't Google skin conditions.
No, because I do have I had a lot of skin issues growing up, and still kind of do. So I have a bit of a weakness there, and I may never sleep again. It was a lot, and it's fine. So Mariah also had to walk flat-footed.
Oh, I know.
mean, why even walk?
Why even walk if you're not in heels? She walks in heels even without heels on.
I know.
She's on tippy toes all the time.
Like, so method that I have to be on flat feet. I'm sitting down. You don't even see me stand.
No, she had to go and get the soda.
She did. I'm imagining her walking out with no shoes on, but on her tippy toes.
Yeah. On the treadmill.
So the hardest part of the performance was trying to not be moved by Monique's amazing and powerful performance.
Oh, that is hard.
As Miss Weiss is meant to be detached. And it was a struggle, and Mariah did have a single tear moment.
But
she wiped it away, hoping no one would see. And I mean, not only is it in the movie, I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
So look at my single tear moment. I hope no one saw that.
I meant to not have any reaction.
Yeah.
Just got carried away.
So Mariah was also discouraged by her team from being in the movie, but she knew what was going on. She's like,
no, this is a good film. I've read the book.
Yeah.
I've read the book twice. I'm all over it.
And Precious went on to win an audience and grand jury prize at Sundance, leading Tyler Perry and Oprah to come on board as producers. What is wrong with me?
As cash cows.
Can you imagine Oprah explaining everything?
Oh my God.
In the rooms, in the offices?
Was Pushed by Sapphire one of her books?
Probably would have been, actually.
Would have been. Sounds like an Oprah.
At least one of her favourite things.
Yeah.
But thankfully for Mariah, things did get glamorous.
Glamorous.
There was red carpets and film festivals and a Roberto Cavalli yacht moment.
Yes, a secret party no one knew about.
No, they still don't. What party?
I don't know what you're talking about. Look at
with Roberto Cavalli. I can't talk today.
Roberto Cavalli.
What is wrong? I'm so tired. I've been fixing things in my
Stop
house.
reading. Just say it. Just say the words you know.
Cat. 7.
Kylie Minogue.
So Monique won Best Supporting Actress at the Academy Awards.
She did.
And Jeffrey
well
Fletcher,
deserved.
Yes, Jeffrey Fletcher was the first African American to win Best Adapted Screenplay. And Mariah also won some awards.
Of course she did. It's Mariah fucking Carey.
Her full name is on her birth certificate. Can we also just quickly mention that Mariah has said somewhere that that's actually not her name.
Oh, really?
Mariah is her name,
Yes.
but I think perhaps there might be another surname somewhere.
Uh,
Or she sort of said something. I don't know what she was alluding to. Maybe she still has Nick Cannon's name.
Maybe. Or is it because
legally?
of her, were her parents not married?
I don't know. No, I think they were because old mate fainted and Patricia made a whole spectacle.
Made a spectacle.
But yeah, so it could just be that she's kept the kid's name.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just like, imagine if it wasn't Mariah. What do you mean? So she won the Breakthrough Performance Award at the Palm Springs International Film Festival, where both Mariah and Lee Daniels were feeling extra festive thanks to bottle on the table splashes.
Oh, bottle on the table parties are always terrifying.
Hectic. And I have watched this footage. Have you seen the acceptance speech?
Probably a million years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty heaven. She's just having fun. Everyone's like, she's such a mess. And I was like, no, she's just having a good time. What are you talking about?
And in Palm Springs.
Fun.
It's a bottle on the table party.
Exactly. So Mariah was thrilled that this gave her acting public validation after Glitter, and says that because Lee believed in her, she could believe in herself. Knowing that with the right material, people, and vision, she could seriously pursue acting, mentioning that Lee also cast her in The Butler, which we may also have to check out.
Yes, we'll have to watch that too.
But that does
now.
Yes, it's a whole IMDb moment. That does summarize the chapter.
Well, that would have to be the quickest Breaking Me On Down we've ever done.
We broked it.
It's
gone.
It's broked it.
Yeah.
So it's time for meatiness.
Yes. Mariah made it. All right, so last chapter, The Father and the Sunset. I gave that infinity, and you gave that infinity.
Well, it had to be infinity. It was a beautiful moment.
Ooh, the Lamley, we're split.
The Lamley are split.
The Lamley are split. We've got an infinity and a 9 to 10.
Right. So 50-50 between those. Oh,
what do we do? So for the chapter Precious, what is your Mariah Meaning score?
Look, I was going to give it like an 8 or a 9, but it was so mercifully short. It was just, we breezed through it, and also I thought of a funny pun, so I'm giving it infilmity.
Well, it's a pun that you find funny. So
it's neither of those things. But that made me, like, when I thought of infilmity, I was like, oh, I have to go with it now.
That's just what it is.
That's the chapter. Plus, also, it was very quick.
Yeah. And I mean, it was fun that there was sprinklings of other movies too that sort of gave us like,
the
there's more to do.
films.
Okay,
There's 3 films.
And I was happy that they did mention the splash moment at the award show.
Yeah.
So for me, I've gone for an 8 because of, it didn't quite. It was sort of over before I felt I was in it. But as we've discussed off air, an 8 is an infinity symbol anyway.
Yeah, sideways. So it's infinity.
We're good, nailing it.
Yeah.
Infinity. Brings us to the remix. What is your remix for this very short chapter? Were you able to come up with
I've got
one?
a very brief remix.
Okay.
Just a little blush. Just a tiny. Just it's not much.
It's Mariah as a drag queen.
It's not even Mariah. Like, surely Miss Weiss has, she's got great cheekbones. Wouldn't you want to just accentuate them a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Like, really?
I mean, these people have enough to deal with in their lives.
I know.
Like, they don't need to see you looking there all tired.
You can just be there with a little bit of blush. Like, that's all. Just a little, just some blush. Like, just a tiny bit.
So, my remix is actually, I was like, what can it be? It's so hard because it was just such a quick chapter. So I thought, what I've done, I've based this on our last chapter and how I was constantly looking for levity.
Yes.
So I've actually done a little blurb for the film itself.
Oh, okay.
But it's Precious, the levity remix.
Okay.
So be prepared. It's almost as short as the chapter. A teenage girl's dream comes true when she's accepted into an exclusive private school, gets some free chicken, and meets Mariah Carey.
Wow.
Doesn't that sound like a fun, get the girls together?
Sounds like a Hallmark movie of the week.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I can't
fun.
imagine how, when we do watch the movie in a minute, how that will not be a fun romp.
That is a great remix. I love it.
Which brings us to Can Take That Away, Mariah's Lesson.
Mariah's Lesson.
Can take that away. Oh, Mariah's Lesson. So my lesson from this chapter is there can be 100 people in a room and 99 of them don't believe in you, but one does. And if that one person is Lee Daniels and you happen to be Mariah Carey, it can change everything.
It can. I mean, but like picking apart your rather facetious lesson, I think that's true. Like,
do you know where I got that from?
Where?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
That's what she said over and over again about
true.
A Star Is Born. It is true, but there's a whole mega mix of her saying it. I thought you'd get it.
but it is a true thing. It's like if everyone, like, regardless of it being Lee Daniels, but sometimes it just takes one person going, no, you're good at this. Like, even if it's someone you don't really respect. Like, because you'll hear one negative thought and go, oh my God, I'm terrible. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. I can't do anything. It's like, why shouldn't that be the other way around?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you be able to turn like a positive comment and go, no, actually, I'm going to stop listening to that hideous inner voice who keeps telling me I'm terrible at things.
So I'm the one person in the room. Or I'm the 99 people in the room. Yeah, so I just really stole that from Lady Gaga.
I love it. It's hilarious.
So what is your lesson?
My lesson is that Mariah Carey can act.
Yes, absolutely.
Because when I cast my TV show, the one thing the casting director taught me, which I was like, oh, wow, this I'd never kind of seen before as what you're looking for in casting, is doesn't matter how you say the lines. the casting director is not looking at that.
Okay.
Like, yes, you would want to see that someone, like, doesn't matter if you don't need to have memorized them, like, as long as you don't sound like a complete idiot. What they're looking for is what you're doing while they're saying their lines.
Right.
Which, because we auditioned a lot of comedians, and stand-up comedians don't ever have to listen to anyone else.
Ever.
I know. That's why I have trouble sometimes realizing that you're even here.
This is my apartment. I live here.
No, please leave now. You're evicted. But yeah, so we're terrible at listening to other people. We're terrible at like reacting to things.
Sure.
So that is the acting. The acting is basically reacting. It's how you perform when you don't have dialogue. Mm-hmm. Are you still that character? Are you listening? Does it register what is the other person is doing? And fuck, does Mariah react? Like that scene with Monique alone is...
will be there, don't you worry.
I know, but that is like an Academy Award winning performance. But, you know, I think it was Christian Bale said about Mark Wahlberg when Christian Bale won the Oscar for, is it The Fighter, the name of that movie?
I think so.
And he's like, you don't win an award like this without having someone to work against. And like Mark Wahlberg deserves an award because he did a lot more work than I did. Like, you know, I get to carry on and be the crazy one, but
yeah, sure.
He has to ground the movie. Like he has to, like, without him, I can't do this kind of thing. And without Mariah there reacting in the way she does, which is like, and as she says in the book, like that was really hard.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Not having that moment of like not being able to, you know, cry and having that one single tear. Like that's a hard job.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the Mariah can act moment.
Boom. Mic drop.
Yeah.
Out the window.
That was my lesson. That's what I learned.
I love it. And what about some I don't know her? So my main one was we still don't know Tommy.
No.
Because of all of the, you know, I can act, Tommy.
I can act, Tommy.
Trying to ruin me. Anyone else we don't know?
Well, I know they had no scenes together, but I feel like she doesn't know Paula Patton, Lenny Kravitz, or Sherry Shepherd.
Well, I have a theory as to why she doesn't know Paula Patton, and we'll get to that.
Oh, hello.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she does know Lenny. She's mentioned him in the book.
Yeah, I know.
But they didn't win any awards.
I guess they did.
Well, I mean, they might have.
They
but
weren't
she didn't
nominated,
check.
but yeah.
But that's probably why.
But also she wasn't in any scenes with them. So
True.
I guess,
I mean, she had like 1 or 2 days work, let's be real.
Yeah, no. She was just there with Monique and Gabby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mariah-isms. All right. So last chapter we presented our favourite Mariah-ism. One being that bundle of paper scraps was more validating than all my awards and Quincy Jones's combined. And the other was, it was a whole Pentecostal moment. And we put it to the Lamley to vote for their favourite.
Oh, exciting. Where did they come? Did they go Quincy Jones or Pentecostal moments?
Ooh. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's a paper scraps moment. Quincy Jones.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't won one of these, I think, since the first chapter.
No, maybe not. There was votes for both, but that is the clear winner. Well done.
Ooh.
That was a tough one to find.
Yeah.
The Mariah-isms.
Yeah.
Which means you go first this week.
I get to go first? All right.
We might even have the same one.
We probably do have the same one. You better believe Miss Weiss was left on the screen and Mariah Carey in full effect was there.
Damn right. Yes. Which just means we don't have to vote on anything. We both win. Yay.
And it was in brackets. The brackets of shade.
Yes, for sure.
The brackets of shade for Miss Weiss.
Yeah. And I think it was the you better believe.
You better believe.
So normally, because we have breezed through this, normally this is where we would, go almost home.
Yes.
But I'm not ready to go home.
I know, I'm not ready to go home.
No,
well, I mean, you are at home.
I am home. I'm just going to go straight to bed. I think
Leave
we might just go and break on down the movie.
We better break on down the movie.
It's would be rude not to.
Breaking me on down. So it's going to be a poshnopsis of Precious.
Yeah, but it's not a usual poshnopsis.
A preshnopsis. A preshnopsis. A preshnopsis.
Crying. Tears. No. So, look, there are moments of levity in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Some of it's glorious.
So there probably are some fun moments, but there's a lot of not fun moments.
Like, because the weird thing is, like, Gabri Sidibe, like, when there are moments where you kind of, because she's so kind of downtrodden and things are hard for her, and like but then you forget, like, because I hadn't seen it in so long, I'm like, oh, that's right, there's all these like pop star moments, like, you know, where she's on the red carpet and she's having a fabulous, like, I'm like,
and the girls at school.
Yeah, the girls at school.
So fun.
So much fun. So yeah, I kind of forgot how much fun there was in here. Like, I just remembered, because I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah.
And just like, and also, like, surrounded, like, I saw it in, I think, at the Carlton Cinema. So surrounded by middle-class people going, oh! And, like, I grew up in this kind of world, honey. Yeah. This is, like, it's shocking. But this is everyday life for some people. And
you think it's not going to get worse? It is. Yeah. Like that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he lives in a horse.
Lives in a horse.
He does. After the bear cuddles him.
Yeah, I've been like that after a bear cuddled me. Exhausted, darling.
I just never forget.
Maybe 4 bears at once.
Clawing and clawing.
Oh, I was spent.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're set in Harlem in 1987. I don't know how I never realised that it was 1987.
Yeah.
I just kind of was like, you know, in neighborhoods like similar to where I grew up, where there's not a lot of money, so it's not very flashy. Yeah, so you don't see new fangled gadgets. Anyway, so we meet Precious, a 16-year-old girl in high school, at, let's say, a disorderly school.
Yes.
She's called into the principal's office, where we discover that she's pregnant with her second child.
Mm-hmm.
At home, we're instantly hit with the fact that Precious's mother is physically abusive, followed by flashbacks of Precious being raped by her father and Precious going into a dream world where she's dressed in a gown, being photographed by the press, only to be brought back to reality with more abuse from her mother. Trigger warning, we should have added to that.
Oh my God, it is full on.
It is full on. So the principal shows up, but Precious's mother doesn't want her to come in as she'll lose her welfare. The principal tells Precious of an alternative school that she's enrolled her in due to her excelling in math. Precious's mother Mary reacts with more abuse, both physical and verbal, accusing Precious of stealing her man and being dumb. Basically just like the most abhorrent like abuse to come out of literally nothing. Yeah. I forgot. I think because you instantly remember the last scene.
Yes.
You kind of forget, and I think the TV scene, you kind of forget this earlier stuff.
Yeah. It's relentless. Every time she goes home, it is just like, you're like, how do you live there?
Yeah. Precious gets ready for bed and looks at photos, imagining her mother being kind and her teacher being in love with her. As you do.
The most white bread teacher on the face of the earth.
But he was probably the only person who was nice to her. Yeah. Precious makes her way to Each One Teach One, which is the school, where Sherry Shepherd works. Yes. And it becomes clear during her entrance exam that Precious can't read. Mm-hmm. We get moments of Precious narrating her feelings, saying she wishes she was dead. Then 3 young guys heckle her on the street, with one pushing her over, leading to another dream of adoration, and she wakes up being licked by a dog. Yeah. So it's even outside of the house. She's a target.
I love the guy that she kept fantasizing about.
Yeah.
I think she's just like, oh, there's my boyfriend. But I imagined.
In my head, my boyfriends change.
Yeah.
In my daydreams.
But she's got the same one all the time.
She's got the same one. She's monogamous.
I love boyfriend continuity.
I'm a dream
You're a dream
Precious looks in the mirror in her bedroom, wishing to see a slim blonde white girl. She's hungry and asks her mum for money. Her mother, who is masturbating, beckons Precious to come and take care of Mama. I forgot about that too. Yeah. And the implications of what that means. Yeah. Precious goes into a diner, distracting the waitress so she can run out with a bucket of chicken to eat on her way to school, which she throws up when she arrives.
The stolen chicken is such a funny scene.
It's weird. Like watching it this time, I always thought that it was because she ate too quickly and that's why she vomited. But she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
I was like, oh, it could be both.
Yeah.
But it's also, morning sickness and just life. She's greeted by her teacher and coaxed into class. Her teacher's name is Blue Rain, and the first thing I noticed about her is how much she looks like a regular person. In fact, Mariah has said she considered a regular person for this role, but unfortunately had to rule them out when the script stated that she sings well. Because it's like the first thing she says, like, my name is Blue Rain, I sing well. And I just, literally as soon as I saw her...
And I'm married to Robin Thicke.
Yeah, that was a random thing. But yeah, I was like, And
Meghan Markle did the calligraphy on my wedding invitation.
Oh, really?
Random. She's still working at a copy shop.
I think this is the only thing I've seen Paula in. And just as soon as I saw her, I was like, the features, but also her voice, the way she speaks. I was like, it's very regular person.
Yeah, but she's... Yeah.
And I'm like, look, if obviously Mariah would not be in this movie, but had this been cast with a regular person, I could see them in that role.
Yeah, I don't see her in, like, I've seen Gigli. And she is the most unconvincing lesbian on the face of the earth.
Oh, really? I haven't seen Gigli. She's a lesbian in Gigli.
She's a lesbian in Gigli. Like, there's one of my favourite scenes in Gigli is where she's doing some sort of exercise.
We might have to watch it.
Talking to Ben Affleck about why she likes vaginas so much, and she goes, because it's like a mouth. It's like kissing a mouth. All the while with the most obvious camel toe you've ever seen in your life. And she's thrusting her hips up while she's doing it. I'm like, what is going on in this scene? Anyway, she's unconvincing as a lesbian.
How is that movie not a camp classic yet?
I know. I think it should be. But Paula Patton, I totally believed she was a lesbian.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, look at you two. What a great... Like, I believed that. I could never believe a regular person could be a lesbian.
All right. If the character was heterosexual, then and Mariah
if she
was
hooked
nowhere
up with
near...
Lenny Kravitz at one point,
yes.
I would believe regular.
Oh, I mean, I would blame her.
Yeah.
I will say that's something that happens.
Yeah.
In my brain.
Is that one of your dream hoes?
Just when watching this, I was like, hang on a second.
Oh.
So we meet the other girls in the class who are all pretty much heaven.
Yeah.
Especially Joanne, who's an icon.
Yes.
They all go through and tell each other a little bit about themselves, including something they're good at, which
and their favorite
that's
color.
the other reason that the regular person couldn't be in this movie.
Yes.
Which is not technically true anyway. No. And I just wrote, fuck, Gabourey is great in this role.
Oh,
just in
so
that,
good.
even in that scene, which is not one of the bigger scenes.
No.
And the girls start by learning to, I wrote learning, because obviously I can't read and write.
No. I haven't wanted to bring that up. But,
I can't speak, that's for sure. So they start by learning to read and write, taking turns writing the alphabet. When one of the girls calls Precious fat, Precious smacks her and everybody loves it, including me.
Oh.
It was like, yeah. And like everyone's egging her on, like, get her,
drag her, bitch.
So Blue tries to help Precious with reading, but Precious continues to have flashbacks. She eventually sounds out the title of a book. And Precious's mum continues to push her to go to welfare, and it's just generally a horrid mess.
Yes.
Then the moment we have all been waiting for. Mariah Carey shows up as Precious's social worker.
Ladies and gentlemen,
with
Weiss.
I had the subtitles on. With the subtitles giving her the hideously regular title of woman.
Woman?
Right? Her first line, woman. I was like, how very dare they?
Oh.
No. So Mariah asks Precious about her home life. Precious does paint a relatively honest picture of her home life, albeit not mentioning the severity of the abuse.
Yes.
And we learn that Precious's first daughter has Down syndrome. So this is Mariah's first
a very
scene.
unfortunate Christian name.
Yeah, I haven't written it down. Because, to be honest, I always assumed it was a nickname. And we just don't know her real name. But yeah, I was like, I don't think that, yeah. Let's not repeat it.
We will not.
So this is Mariah's first scene. And, of course, we know there's no makeup.
Yeah.
But she fucking sells it. Like, the look in her eyes, like, I was, like, it's probably the first time I've watched it without being like, it's Mariah Carey!
Yeah.
And just watching it. And I was like, the look in her eyes, like, just everything she's doing is, like you said, like, she's great. It's, from the minute she comes on, you're there.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I think a lot of people wouldn't even know who it is.
I was talking to Gary when I was like, I've got to watch Precious. And he's like, why do you have to watch Precious? I went off of the Mariah Carey podcast. And he's like, did she sing a song in it? I went, no, she's in it. She plays the counselor. And he goes, what? Mariah Carey is the counselor. And I was like, yeah. And so I got it up on Stan and I watched I just showed him that scene. He's like, oh, that is Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember her being in this. I went, yeah, Lenny Kravitz is in it.
It's because Mariah's not in it. Miss Weiss is in it.
Miss Weiss. She's such a good actor. You don't know
she's so good. You don't even know.
Yeah. All the hits.
So many.
So many
I
hits.
can't even. Oh.
It's too many.
But no, I think, and can I also say she's fucking beautiful. Like, yeah. I was like, I know we love the makeup Mariah.
Yeah.
But she's gorgeous.
That is the reason Lee Daniels said no makeup, because it's like, well, you can't hide how beautiful you are.
Yeah.
But like, we can make you plain and still stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just the first time like that, again, like I was.
The dowdy wig is heaven as well.
I love it.
I
think I might have to draw it this week.
And also, like, her collection of really terrible cardigans.
Yeah. Loves the cardi.
She loves a long cardi.
Cardi A, Cardi B, etc.
No Cardi C, unfortunately. No. She's only got the two.
Yeah. So Precious's grandmother shows up on welfare day and
her of the shooken head.
Yes. And we learn that that's where the daughter, Precious's first daughter, is living.
Yes.
And Monique holds the baby and puts on a front for the social worker, but
yes.
is just as abusive with the grandchild.
Yeah.
And I feel like this performance that she gives, as in the character gives, I just recognized it from so many people.
Yeah.
In this kind of situation where it's like, oh my God, you are lying through your fucking teeth.
Oh, look at me being a nice person.
Yeah.
A parent teacher.
It kind of made my skin crawl. Like, and I think because, and we'll get more to Monique's performance, but there's just such a reality behind it. There's really there's no acting. You believe every freaking word of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why it's so horrifying.
I found like it was annoying me for a little while, but then I was like, no, actually it's selling the reality. Is that, there's so much mumbling, and sometimes scenes will start halfway through a sentence and then there'll be like a voiceover on top of another scene where people are speaking. Yeah. And I was like, oh, so the dialogue is actually not that crucial. It's the sense of the scenes.
Yeah, it's painting the picture. And I think sometimes your brain in situations that are abusive, similar to how she goes to Fantasyland, can also be narrating things and changing them as they're happening almost in your head. Like, this isn't what's happening.
Yeah.
So Mariah asks Precious about her father, and she lets slip that he gave her this baby and the one before, to which Mariah's obviously visibly shocked.
Yes.
And we find out that Precious has never been to a doctor and that she gave birth to her first child on the kitchen floor while her mum was kicking her. This was such a small, not a throwaway line, but such a small detail that, because again of the bigger things that we see, and you kind of go, oh, fuck, really? Like, what? Yeah. And Precious worries about having said too much and how it will affect her mum's welfare.
Yes. Which it does.
Spoiler. Yeah. So school is going well.
Yeah.
Precious seems to be making good progress, and then boom, she goes into labour, and hot ass Lenny Kravitz is there to make my heart blow.
Lenny.
Let's talk about someone else who's not really wearing makeup or done up, which is Lenny Kravitz.
Uh-huh.
But oh my God, I still was like, I didn't know you could do this to me, Lenny.
Lenny can always do it to you.
I mean, honestly. And
when he was engaged to Nicole Kidman?
No.
Yes.
Heaven. I was just thinking of Lisa Bonet, who also... Probably, why not? She's a very stunning,
She's also a stunning person. There's a lot of good genes going on there.
Yeah. So the girls come to visit, and Lenny is still there, eating fruit all sexy.
Oh, don't even.
And for the first time, we see Precious being a teenage girl, which is really sweet. Like, seeing her laugh and just have fun and make a joke and all of that. So Blue and Precious correspond as Precious weighs up whether to keep her kids or return to school.
Yeah.
This was another great moment that I'd sort of maybe not paid attention to the first few times I watched, going, oh, there's a real back and forth of this.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz gives Precious a Christmas card with some cash, and I swear that man is trying to break me down. And she has so much love and many like cards and things at the hospital. It's really sad to see her check out.
Yeah. Because it's like it's a safe place for her.
Yeah, for the first time that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So Precious returns home where her mother asks to hold the baby.
Oh.
After about 30 seconds, she drops the baby and throws a vase at Precious, going off because she was kicked off the welfare and Precious stole her husband. Precious tells her that her husband raped her. Then a physical altercation occurs, or ensues really. Precious takes her child and leaves, falling down the stairs as her mother chases her, throwing the television down the flight of stairs and narrowly missing them. As she leaves, Precious pushes her young neighbour into the trash. I mean, my first note was this scene is horrific.
Yeah.
To mention the neighbour who was just the young... I think it's a young girl.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure the first time I watched. But the young girl who...
Completely neglected. Her hair is a mess.
Yeah. And is always very sweet. But obviously in this moment, it's the whole thing. And this does come back later.
Yeah.
I mean, we're dropping babies. We're throwing television. Like, the television could have killed both of them.
Yeah.
Throwing like, it's fucked up.
It's a mess.
And yet, at the same time, it's not unbelievable.
No.
You kind of go, this person exists.
Yeah.
Precious passes I can't speak. What is wrong with you? Precious passes a church. I get too excited. And envisions herself with her son, her boyfriend, and a dog in the choir. I like to think Mariah lent them the dog for the day.
It did look like Jack.
Yeah. She breaks into the school where she's found by Miss Rain. Miss Rain works to find Precious somewhere to stay while the girls try and teach themselves in one of the most hilarious scenes in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
The levity, darling.
The levity is necessary.
And Rhonda is also heaven.
Yeah.
I love a bit of Rhonda. This is also Rhonda from Mariah's Place and/or Rhonda Birchmore.
Yes.
Precious ends up staying with Miss Rain, discovering that she's a straight-up lesbian.
Straight-up lesbian.
Precious's narration says that the strangers are nicer to her than her own parents and that they talk like TV channels I don't watch, which I thought was kind of like sad but sweet in a way.
Yeah.
Oprah gets a mention.
Yes.
As do homos. And do we think that Oprah only got a mention after she signed on to produce?
No.
They quickly went back and refilmed.
No. Oprah was already in there. Oprah's just part of the zeitgeist.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, she's part of this podcast and she hasn't paid us. So.
I know. Like I was giving Oprah advice to someone the other day. They're like, I was talking about,
do you believe?
No, it was someone was like freaking out about things that hadn't happened yet. And I went, you've got to get into like the whole mindfulness thing. Like your first port of call is the Oprah Winfrey podcast with Eckhart Tolle. It's like 10 episodes. They did it as a webcast thing. It's just the same as reading the book. And I know it sounds weird, but it's amazing. Like if you need to sort your head out, an Oprah podcast will help.
Absolutely. And Oprah anything will help.
Anything will help, really.
Like Oprah could be selling lamb chops and that'd help. Precious gets settled in a home and even wins a Progress Award and they have a little party.
Yes.
And Precious sets up Sherry Shepherd with Lenny Kravitz.
Yes.
And Sherry knows a good thing when she sees it. So, I know it's weird, but I think because we're following Precious around, like you almost forget how young she is.
Yeah.
So the love and affection she's getting from Lenny, you almost mistake as romantic, but it's not.
No, it's paternal.
It's and
it's how a father figure actually should behave. Yeah.
And so I was like, I mean, Sherry Shepherd's not good enough for him, but
she is.
Maybe the character. I don't know. No, she's lovely. She's funny. But I just don't want anyone with Lenny unless it's me.
Well, maybe you can be Sherry Shepherd.
I would love that.
Yeah. You would look great with cornrows. Oh God,
I'm not doing problematic cornrows. Have you seen her in the show? The first season, I can't think of the name of it. Trial and Error.
No.
Oh my God. She has like a bunch of random diseases and illnesses that make her laugh at bad news. Like, just like, oh my God, this is too much. But the first season has John Lithgow.
Yes.
As a man who may or may not have killed his wife, but it's a comedy. And he's just the most incriminating
I remember this.
person. And the second one's Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. If anyone needs something great to watch,
excellent.
Go and watch that. So time passes and Precious is doing well and saying she wants to get her daughter back as well. Monique shows up to tell Precious that her father has died of AIDS. And because neither Precious nor us can catch a fucking break, Precious tests positive for HIV. Keeping in mind, this is 1987, not 2021. So Precious breaks down in class saying how love never helped her, that it beat and raped her. Miss Rain tells her that wasn't love and encourages her to write it all down. So this was another moment that I forgot about.
Yeah.
Probably because I had to.
Yeah.
Like the character can just not literally catch a break.
Yeah.
Like it is constant. Even, and just like, this is probably the first glimpse we get of the Mary character not being all that bright.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
You know, her understanding that you only can get HIV through anal sex. And yeah, it's a lot. Thankfully, Mariah's back.
Yay!
And she's looking a little bit happier. And I said, this must be the scene where she snuck a little blush. She'd right up. They banter a little, and Mariah goes and gets the soda. That's why she had to have the flat shoes.
The flat shoes to
and
get the soda.
Precious steals her file.
Yeah.
And then Mariah tells Precious that Monique wants to reunite. Her file says that she's going to die of AIDS and that she should work for the doll, basically.
Yeah.
But Precious doesn't want that. That's not what she wants. And she ends up starting to go to a group for incest survivors, which is actually a deleted scene. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but they did actually shoot something
cool.
for that. Now we see Precious's young neighbour in the social worker waiting room. And it's clear that she's being abused in her home as well, having the black eye. And Precious gives her a scarf and heads up to see Mariah Weiss. Which, you know, this was really like such a little side plot, but it was just enough to kind of show you like this is not a standalone
this is happening
tale
everywhere.
And you know, a similar character really to the Mary character in The Mother. So what follows is a scene that can really only be fully understood by watching it. So I haven't sort of gone too far into it other than the facts of it. So Monique meets with Precious and Mariah, who keeps asking her to detail the acts of physical and sexual abuse that took place in the home. We find out that the abuse started when Precious was 3. And Precious's mother blames her for making her man go away. Before presenting Precious with her daughter. Precious tells her mother she won't be seeing her anymore, telling Miss Weiss that she likes her, but she can't handle her and all of this. Precious leaves the welfare office with the 2 children, heading into the unknown. How do we talk about this scene?
The scene is horrific, but I forgot how kind of uplifting the aftermath of the scene is, like, because that's the climax, the end of the movie. And it does explain, I mean, it doesn't excuse, but it does explain why she's so horrific and why she's so awful to her daughter and has been for all this time. But yeah, it's like seeing Precious walk off with the kids, you're like, oh, this actually feels like, I don't know how, but like a happy ending.
Yeah, it feels hopeful for the first time. I think it's probably like, because my brain, especially watching it this time, was like, you know, this is still someone who has HIV in 1987. We don't know how that's going to turn out.
No.
But there are still people with us from that time. And sort of going, how is she going to, you know, because I almost forgot that it's not that she's leaving school. In my head, she was leaving school, but it's like, oh no, in the way I choose to see it is she's like, I'm not going to work for the doll, so I'm not going to be in this office
she wants to go to college. Like, she's decided.
And that's what I'm going to keep doing.
I'm currently reading at 8th grade level. I'm going to get up to high school, then I'm going to go to college.
And I'll figure it out in between,
Yeah.
basically. You know, as far as the scene, like you said, horrifying, but also stunning.
Like, just performance-wise. Like,
and even the way it was shot, it's like it's silence. It's like, it's almost as if Monique is performing a monologue, which it is really. But it's probably one of the most powerful pieces of acting I've ever seen. Like,
absolutely deserved Academy Award.
Yeah, and I think
absolutely
the thing that Monique does so well, and then the writing and everything else, is you feel everything for this woman. Like, you hate her.
Yeah,
and what she's
awful.
done, and, you know, for not standing up and stopping the abuse and the molestation. Like, you're disgusted that she's blaming Precious for all of this, and yet you're sad for her.
Yeah.
And the fact that that it's a cycle.
Yeah.
And that this is what someone can become from this kind of environment. And
also her own limited, emotionally stunted experience. Like, she's kind of stopped at one point.
Yeah. She's kind of like a caged animal. That's how and the way she's lashing out, like, you don't know me kind of attitude. But then pivots to the next thing, trying to, it's almost like push you away, pull you back in, push you away, pull you back in. And it's, you, like, watching the movie, you're like, I hate this character. I'm never going to feel any sympathy for this person. And then somehow, and you almost, like, it's almost like you hate yourself for feeling it, but you do. You kind of go, oh my God, like, this was a person as well.
Yeah.
And they've done and allowed horrific things to happen, but horrific things were done and happened to them.
Yeah.
And it's, I think also one of the big things maybe why it's so hopeful is you're seeing Precious change that narrative.
Yeah.
And that cycle. She's literally breaking the cycle, which I think we've talked about that before. It's something, once you recognize it, it's kind of your responsibility to change it.
Yeah.
And Precious has that insight that Mary doesn't. But yeah, I like to think that she kept going to school, became super rich, got treatment, and is still living out there. But maybe
it made me really want to read the book, which last time I saw it, I did not, because I was like, that was a horrific experience, and I can never go through that.
And with
again.
a book, you're in it a lot longer.
Yeah. But now I'm like, oh, actually, maybe I do want to read that book.
Yeah. Well, on the little special features, Sapphire, who wrote the book, Push, she lived in Harlem and taught reading and writing.
Yeah.
So that's where the inspiration came. Apparently, she went back to college or uni, and I suppose it was for writing, and they can do many things. And she's like, I'm going to write a novel. Yeah. And use the experience. And she was saying how initially it was in the third person, but it was too political. It was about her thoughts and her values and what she wanted to change. She's like, I need it to be not that. I need it to be a connection and allow the politics of it all to be happening around. Yeah. And that it's not, I'm telling you this, it's you're experiencing it through the eyes of Precious. And that brings us to the end of a rather daunting little poshnopsis. Not as fun and vivacious as normal.
But that's the beauty of art. It makes you, it gives you reactions. It's still a very harrowing film for me to watch, because I grew up in, a terrible circumstance. And it just kind of reminded me of, my my terrible abusive father coming, we didn't have any contact with him for years. And then he came back, when we were in our 20s, and was kind of hanging out with my sister, trying to be friendly. And then one day saw mum come home with her, new partner. And that was it. We never heard from him again. Oh. And it's like, oh, that's why you were there? We were just a way for you to try and get back in with our mum? Wow. And you're just like we're people. We're 21 and 23-year-old people who have feelings and have, want to experience, a relationship with someone, but all you're there for is we're just a means to an end. Yeah. So I totally understand that kind of, that it's abhorrent and horrific, but seeing someone who treats their child as someone who's in the way of their relationship. Yeah. And the depths of, ugliness that must have happened for them to get to that place. Oh yeah. And knowing in this case, and I'm sure in many cases, that Mary loved Precious. Yeah. It was her daughter. But this sort of cancerous life kind of beat that out of her. Yeah. It's horrific all around, really. Yeah. It's grotesque.
It is, but yeah, it's. I think I think a lot of people would watch it and sort of see at least reflections of their life or parts of it.
Yeah.
But that's that. That's the film.
That was amazing.
And the book. It is. It's really good.
And you know what? I would never have watched it again because it was so traumatic the first time I watched it. But I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed the experience. Like, and maybe because I have seen it, and so I know all the horrific things that are coming. So I'm kind of prepared for them.
Yeah.
But still, like, you know, as just a piece of cinema, it's amazing. It's still an amazing film.
And Sapphire was saying as well, like when she, she held off from selling the rights for 5 years because she wanted the book to be the book.
Yeah.
But eventually, apparently she turned down Lee. Then went and saw Monsters Ball and something else and was like, what the hell was I doing?
Yeah.
And she wanted people to come out of that movie changed.
Yeah.
Saying, that's one of the best things I've ever seen. Yeah. Whether it's hard or not.
Yeah.
That it was a moment. And I think
a transformative moment.
Yeah, and I think they got it.
Yeah.
All right. So, does that mean we're almost home?
We are almost home.
Goodness. So, next Mariah Monday, we will be getting festive.
Oh my God, festiveness is happening.
Someone's rubbing their nipples.
I'm excited about the festive. I've got festive in my breastive.
A little festive in the breastive with a little Merry Christmas to you.
The album.
The
2010 album.
Yes. And then, of course, we'll have a little diva moment and a little Mariah's Christmas The Magic Continues moment coming up.
Oh, so many festive moments
December,
from here until...
Festive.
It is Mariah Carey's spiritual home.
Yes.
Oh, well, thank you. It has been a joy to revisit Precious.
It's going to be weird. I can't just turn you off at the end of this.
I know. I'm going to still be here when I press the stop button.
I know. What am I going to do? We'll just sit in silence.
All right. Bye, Lamely.
Bye.